This is the story of a man who fought in 5 different decades and won 103 professional fights. Most boxing legends are defined by their elegance or their power, but Roberto Durán was defined by pure, unadulterated ferocity. They called him Manos de Piedra, or Hands of Stone, a nickname that only hinted at the violence he brought to the ring. From the slums of Panama to the bright lights of Las Vegas, he didn't merely defeat his opponents, he psychologically dismantled them. To understand his greatness, you must look past the knockout reel and recognize the brilliant tactical mind hiding behind the rage. Born in the poverty of El Chorrillo, Panama, Durán turned professional in 1968 at the illegal age of 16. He fought like a man starving because he often was. By 1972, he had torn through 28 opponents, 24 of them by knockout, earning a shot at the lightweight champion Ken Buchanan. The bout at Madison Square Garden resembled a mugging more than a sporting event. Durán swarmed the skilled Scotsman from the opening bell, refusing to give him space to breathe. Although the fight ended controversially in the 13th round with a low blow, the result was undeniable. A new force had arrived, combining the raw aggression of a street fighter with the developing skills of a master. June 20, 1980, the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. This date marked the absolute peak of Roberto Durán's powers. Facing him was Sugar Ray Leonard, the golden boy of American boxing, unbeaten and seemingly untouchable. Durán planned to do more than box him. He insulted Leonard's family and questioned his manhood for weeks, baiting the American into a war. The strategy worked. When the bell rang, Leonard abandoned his movement and stood toe-to-toe with the Panamanian. For 15 brutal rounds, Durán battered the welterweight champion against the ropes, slipping punches by millimeters and countering with savage body shots. He stripped Leonard of his title and his aura of invincibility, earning a unanimous decision victory that cemented his status as the best fighter on the planet. 5 months later, the legend collapsed. Durán had spent the summer partying and eating, ballooning in weight, while Leonard plotted revenge. The rematch in New Orleans saw a different dynamic entirely. Leonard moved, danced, and humiliated a sluggish Durán, mocking him with wind-up punches and sticking his chin out. Frustrated and exhausted, Durán did the unthinkable in the 8th round by turning his back on the fight. Historians still debate whether he actually said the words, "no mas," but the action spoke for itself. The toughest man in boxing had quit. The fallout was catastrophic as Panama turned on its idol, and the boxing world wrote him off as a disgrace who would never hold a major title again. Redemption took years, but it came in spectacular fashion. In 1983, on his 32nd birthday, Durán brutalized the undefeated Davy Moore to capture the junior middleweight title. Yet his true masterpiece came 6 years later when he was 37 years old and considered ancient for a lower-weight fighter. He challenged Iran Barkley for the middleweight championship in February 1989. Barkley was bigger, stronger, and had just knocked out Thomas Hearns, but none of that mattered. In a Fight of the Year performance, the aging Durán rolled back the years, slipping Barkley's heavy artillery and landing a knockdown in the 11th round. He won by split decision, claiming a world title in his 4th weight class and proving that his heart had never truly left the ring. History remembers the rage, but it often forgets the genius. Durán was a defensive wizard who could stand in the pocket and make 3 punches miss by inches without taking a backward step. He mastered the subtle art of grappling, using his head and shoulders to off-balance opponents on the inside while freeing his own hands to punch. He would feint with his knees and dip his head to draw a reaction before firing a right hand over the top faster than the other fighter could blink. This technical sophistication allowed him to compete at the elite level for over 30 years. He wasn't just a brawler who relied on a granite chin, he was a master chess player who used pain as his pieces. Roberto Durán finally hung up his gloves in 2001 after fighting professionally in 5 different decades. His record of 70 knockouts stands as proof of his power, but his resurrection from the disgrace of New Orleans stands as proof of his spirit. He was flawed, volatile, and occasionally self-destructive, yet he remains the greatest lightweight to ever lace up a pair of gloves. In the end, he proved that while hands of stone can crack, the heart of a true fighter never breaks.